Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
About to listen to is an experiment in community radio. You may sometimes laugh, cringe, and even have secondhand embarrassment for the hosts. This is perfectly normal. Do not be alarmed. Instead, sit back, turn the volume up, and enjoy the mildly entertaining styling of two radio misfits. Hey, it's better than listening to Living on a Prayer for the 11th time this week. Well, maybe not. Either way, just try and enjoy it.
Ensuring low expectations. It's the audience of one show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your podcast from. I am Andrew, sitting next to the guy who thinks that crucifixion is a lot of work. It's Dick. I guess I did go to Disney World. Schisler.
What's up?
Sup, man. Quite a lot has happened since the last time you and I have done a show. Wow. All I got to say is, wow.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what we're referring to as a little storm, otherwise known as a hurricane. Hurricane Beryl came through, and it was packing a wallop, wasn't it?
I guess.
I mean, considering the amount of people that lost power and the downed trees. I do think that if we lived in an area that didn't have a lot of trees, especially as you got further off the coast, it probably wouldn't have been as bad. But with all the trees, they take out everything in their path.
Yep.
Including houses, which I saw a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
Did you have any damage at your house?
No.
Lucky. I had a little bit, not too bad to the actual property. I had some downed trees. Lost power for 2.5 days. How about you?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I really don't.
Were you not at your house?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I guess.
Did you put a sleeping bag underneath the desk here at the studio?
Yeah.
City Hall does have a generator, so
Yeah, you could probably hear it.
yeah, I can hear it right now in
Yeah,
my headset.
But yeah, no, it was a couple days, and then there you go. I mean, like it's kind of weird because where I was, the storm really wasn't even that bad. We lost power when the storm passed.
It's because you're a little bit further west. I was on the east side, or what they call the dirty side of the eye wall, just on the east side of it. So we got it pretty strong.
Because like I remember when the storm, I think it was like at 11 or 12, it's kind of like really died down. Like it was just kind of lightly raining.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool, it's over. And then it just power went out. And I'm like, oh, great.
Nice. Speaking of generators, my neighbor has a whole house Generac generator, and you can hear it, humming. And of course, listening to it at night makes you really ponder some of the decisions that you've made in life, thinking, man, I really could use one of those right now. But it's interesting because I picture them as we're over here sitting in the dark, using a Bic lighter for light, that they're eating beef Wellington with classical music playing, drinking red wine with a pinky in the air. Honey, did you hear that the neighbors have no power? They have no poor souls.
Well,
That's what I pictured anyways.
I mean, the Generac stuff, I guess there's other companies because those things are, what, like $2,000 minimum and then install?
I thought they were significantly more than that plus install. Yeah, but there might be smaller ones that don't do whole
that's what
house.
I'm saying, like,
if you're gonna do a whole house, I mean, I think you're nearing 10 gur on something like that plus install, maybe a little less than 10 grand. But yeah, and then you gotta pay for the actual gas too to run it while you're using it. It's not an inexpensive addition to a home. Let's put it that way. It is definitely a luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna use it 5 or 6 times a year, I could see okay, but if you're using it once every couple of years, it's hard to justify. It's nice, but it's hard to justify.
Well, this storm really showed me that you really do need one in this area just because of how the power will go down.
Yeah.
Every time there's a storm. And sometimes there's like 4 storms, 5 storms. Because this is the worst I've ever seen this area be down for that long with that not even that serious of a storm. Because it really wasn't that serious of a storm.
No, it wasn't.
Up here, but
yeah.
like, in others, it's
On the
crazy.
coast, yeah. It depends. I think it depends on where you were at.
Yes, I'm saying, like up here.
But the ramifications of it in terms of electrical outages was massive. Over 2.7 million people, I think, in the greater Houston area were without power.
Well, like,
Whoa.
Conroe, I think they're going to take a week to 2 weeks.
In some cases, I saw that, yeah,
And
to be fully restored. That's too long to be without power. I'm just going to go on record and say that.
Oh, yeah. Like, we were, where we were, I looked it up, and it was like 90% of our energy company was down. 90%. I'm like, ooh, it's going to take a kind of a luck of the draw, see if we get first. But then I saw other places, I was like, oh, they're going to be like 2 weeks.
No doubt. And, of course, that's why this show is coming out a little later than normal, simply because, well, we had no power at my house for several days. But we persevere, Dick. We persevere. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so, when we did the show last time, it was right before 4th of July. So how was your 4th of July
It was
weekend?
good.
I know it's been a little
fished,
bit of time now. So.
Hung out by the bay, and then the storm came, so we left.
Yeah.
Cut it short. The 4th itself wasn't that special to me.
I did nothing.
Because we were actually like off the water. We were on like not a houseboat, but it was one of those boats or those houses that was just randomly in. It was probably 2 miles off the coast, a mile off the coast, and you didn't have any neighbors.
Whoa.
So it was more of like you didn't hear any fireworks.
Clothes optional?
Yeah. Well,
Well, right. I mean, well, maybe not for you. You're taking clothes off all the time.
I was having a great time.
Other people.
But yeah, it was that was really strange because it didn't feel like the 4th. Like I think I went to bed at like 9.
Oh my gosh. I guess because you were inebriated.
No.
No, just I guess you're right. Out there, time doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah. Other than that, I fell off a bunk bed. That was fun.
Sober, did you? Sober were you?
I think it was a combination because what happened was I was the last one to get in, and then so I got up into the top bunk, and then I realized I probably fell asleep, and then I realized I have to use the restroom. I need to use the restroom, and I just did my normal I gotta get up, and so I just got up, and then I just fell because I didn't realize I was on the top bunk, and then I just ate it real hard, and everyone laughed at me. And it was funny is everyone thought because I don't roll in my sleep. So everyone thought I was like, oh, I shouldn't sleep on the top bunk.
I'm fine.
I was like, no, guys, actually, I'm just an idiot because I forgot that I was on the top bunk, and I just kind of put my legs over and just kind of just jumped off.
Yeah.
And then landed on my knees.
I didn't do much because, I just gotten back from that elongated Disney vacation, so I didn't do much. I did forget to mention that the fireworks show at Disney were pretty amazing. They do fireworks over the castle. And they do a light show on the castle that is phenomenal. That actually was really good. So I neglected to say that last week. I'll just take that as my 4th of July fireworks.
Yeah. Well, people were still popping in my neighborhood.
You got nothing else to do if you got no power.
Yeah, true.
Speaking of having no power, it is interesting how, dependent we've become on power. Duh. But it's all the things that go along with it, like the internet. And not having even cell coverage is really terrible. So I think, it's bad enough at times. I'm like, man, I'm a little warm right now, but I certainly would like to look up my Insta, and see how.
Well,
see
no,
how that's doing.
that was the scariest part for me was when our power went out. All of a sudden, my phone wouldn't work.
Yeah, at the cell towers were down too.
Yeah, and I couldn't look up the weather.
We couldn't call anybody. You couldn't text anybody.
Yeah.
Just sit in your heat and fester. I think my daughter probably would have preferred to have Wi-Fi over air conditioning at some points.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's bad enough for me. I imagine
kids,
it's really bad. Yeah,
but, I mean,
exactly.
But
exactly, man.
Then again, I took advantage of it. I slept.
Did you? Oh, it was hot, though. Well, actually, that first day wasn't bad.
No.
It was the second day that was kind of brutal, and into the third night it was really getting toasty.
But, yeah, it was fine. It was normal. You live in Houston, that's what you get. And sometimes, because the tree thing was pretty bad. But, again, it's just get a generator. It'll be fine. Just pay the $10,000 or $15,000.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. Just money. Wow. What's everybody complaining about? I have something written down here. The shark attacks in the Gulf. I made note of this, even though I was out of pocket.
Well, I got stung by
a
jellyfish.
Did you? That's close enough to a shark attack.
Yeah, it's very similar. Well, yeah, that was fun.
Did you have someone urinate on it?
No, we have vinegar on the boat.
Much more fun to pee.
Yeah. But
the shark attack's crazy. 4 of them all in one day down there at South Padre.
Yeah.
Of course, that's 6-hour drive from here, I guess, but along the coastline. If you were on the coast, would you have gotten in the water even though those shark attacks were 5 or 6 hours away? I don't believe I would have.
Well, I mean, I didn't really get that deep in the water.
These people weren't deep, though. They were just, waist high, knee deep, and the shark came by and said,
Yeah.
You see that one picture? That lady's leg was like half missing.
Yeah.
And what I thought was strange is the video I saw, they drug her a few feet, but she was still in the water, and the blood is just going everywhere. And I'm thinking, can't you pull her a few more feet? Like, it seems like you're kind of chumming the waters for the shark to come back. And the word is, it was the same shark that attacked all 4 people. I don't know about that, but makes you wonder, though, if the hurricane kind of blew the sharks up here,
I know that's what happened with the jellyfish. Because
Yeah.
the first couple of days we were there, didn't see a jellyfish. And then when the storm started picking up on
Right.
Thursday and Friday, because it was real bad on Friday. Like, you could see jellyfish all the way up to the shore.
Wow.
To the beach area, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're really coming in. So if you're going to the boat,
Yeah.
you're like, there's a good chance you're gonna get stung by a jellyfish.
How bad of a sting was it, man? Did you get?
Not that bad. It was just around my ankle.
I've had one wrapped kind of, the tentacle around a leg, and it is quite painful. Actually, I've had it a couple of times. Some to varying degrees of pain, too. Some of them weren't a big deal, and some of them hurt.
But yeah, overall,
Yeah.
4th of July, who cares?
Well, that's nice, man. It's nice. You ready to start the show, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Didn't know. Last week when I was at Disney, and I will be talking a little bit about the Warrior Games later in this show, but as promised last week. But when I was at Disney last week, I rode a lot of buses. And that's because you're getting to and from other parks, from the hotel to the events. And I noticed something about these buses. Now, the Disney buses were the kind that you mostly stood up on.
Yeah. It's like quick travel, a 20-minute trip.
Yeah, exactly. And then some of them that were taking you to the events were the ones you walked in and they had the rows of seats. And the one thing I noticed was, and this is not just these buses, but all the buses have the most wild patterns on the seats. Like the most god-awful looking like electric bolts and geometric shapes and all kinds of stuff.
Like a bowling alley carpet.
Right, exactly. They're like a nightclub carpet or something like that on every single bus. Every single bus. And I couldn't quite figure out why. There's got to be a reason why all of them do this, because Lord knows it's not because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. Would you like to guess why? This is a common theme.
I don't know.
For not just bus seats, but for also like bowling alley floors. It's to hide the stains and dirt. That's nasty. But it makes sense, right? If you've got a ton of people moving their ass off and on that thing with drinks and things, and they're in a bowling alley or a nightclub or something, you're going to have tons of spills. You don't see it if there's all kinds of... You're distracted by the triangles and the rectangles that are going on. But God, that's nasty. I didn't want to think about that. But what's gone on that seat before? Nasty. Also noticed and kind of appreciated the uniforms that the Disney bus drivers had. And it wasn't just like, jeans with a polo shirt. These guys were head to toe in like an outfit. Pants with a stripe down the side, a button-up shirt that matched a hat. I mean, they looked really official, and I thought at first maybe they were kind of over-uniformed, but then it kind of made me feel, comfortable, like a respectable job, And they did have quite a difficult job, because I did tell you about this last week, and I'll be delicate with this story, but I think it's one I want to tell. When you're getting on and off the bus at Disney, there's all kinds of people, including folks who may be challenged physically. And so when someone in a wheelchair tries to get onto the bus, it's a little bit of a process. The bus driver, in his nice uniform, will come from the front to the back where the ramp is. He has a key in this box, and when he turns the key, the half of the bus on the side of the bus will lower, which is pretty cool. And then like some drawbridge at a castle, the bridge or whatever will go down and allow the person with the handicap to come on. Not a big deal. This happened quite a bit. You saw people with all kinds of things, missing limbs or maybe some sort of muscular dystrophy, some sort of problem. Not a problem. You take your time. I understand they want to enjoy Disney and they got to get on the bus and get home too. Well, one night we were coming back from one of the parks and it was late. And we were tired, and the bus is just about to leave, and up here comes the bus driver to go to the back to let someone in who has in a wheelchair. And again, this is about a 10-minute process to do, and it's kind of like, oh, man, we got to sit here another 10 minutes, but I get it. So he does the key thing and lowers the bus, and here comes the drawbridge. Am I the ass if the person coming on, their only handicap was a few extra LBs, and I was a little disappointed in the fact that they didn't seem to be severely handicapped. And I thought, oh, come on, man, we're going to win here.
No, I mean...
Am I the ass? Is that wrong of me? Is that wrong of me?
Well, I mean, first off, you're on what I would consider public transportation. So you have to take everything as it is.
I know, but I was like,
the positive side of that is you know where that person's going to be sitting.
Yes.
So you're like, I don't want to sit over there.
Well, I had no problem sitting next to the person. It was just the fact that
disabled people, I don't want to be around. And,
oh gosh.
And
Dick said that, not me.
I'm just kidding. No, because my niece is in a wheelchair, so I appreciate that. And again, it's like you're on public transportation.
Yeah, but I just felt as though I would be a little bit more receptive, patient, whatever you want to call it, if the person did have at least a malady that I could see other than just being a little overweight. I know. I'm sorry. I'm the ass. We'll put that out there to the listeners to see.
100%. Then again, like when I go to Disney World, we don't take buses, so.
Well, that was to get. Well, you
have drivers.
Oh, right. Yeah, chauffeurs.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw a limo, by the way?
Not too long ago. What was weird though, it was like in a county road over near Huntsville, and I thought that was really strange. I was like, "What the hell?"
So you hadn't seen one in a while.
Yeah.
It seems like I used to see limos more often, and I was wondering if it's kind of a thing, a bygone.
Well, now
fad.
Now it's Sprinter vans and like those big old Mercedes Sprinter vans that can seat like 10 people.
Yeah,
and because like if you order any type of party bus, it's a bus now. It's not a limo. You're not having a party limo. And I think people just got too accustomed to more room where they can stand up and move around and do that kind of thing.
Right, because the limo is shorter, right?
Yeah, limos don't really make a lot of sense unless you need your privacy. And no one really needs their privacy anymore. So it's because everyone's used to.
Did you ever do the limo for like prom or something like that?
No, I think the only time we did a limo was like some guy's bachelor party or something, and it was just taking us to and from the airport.
Right. I think that's the last time I was in a limo. It was at Las Vegas in the late 90s, and I went with a buddy and his parents, and his dad was a high roller. And we had a limousine take us from the airport to the hotel and from the hotel back, and that was the last time I think I probably rode. And prior to that...
Which is ironic because
I think it was probably a prom.
The trunk is the same size.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's not really about efficiency, is it?
But no, I rented a Sprinter van when we went to the Dynamo game for my family because
not quite as luxurious though.
Yeah, but like you're just trying to get somewhere, and
I think the limo you're trying to draw attention to yourself. A Sprinter van is just more I can fit 10 people in here.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to roll up into a place and show everybody that you're somebody, you want the limo, you know. Schistler's here. The ramp folds down. Psh, the side comes out.
Yeah.
You wheel on out.
I'm cured, and I get up.
Yeah, and you start dancing.
That's my ongoing joke, Willy Wonka style. But no, I think you need to get over it. Public transportation, is public transportation.
I know. I'm the flawed guy there in that one. I also wanted to extol the virtues of the fanny pack. I used the fanny pack when I was at Disney quite extensively.
Where'd you get your fanny pack?
It's amazing. It was actually given to us as like a free gift through the Warrior Games, and I'm like, and it was not the most fashionable looking of things, but I decided to wear it. And I think like fanny packs are essentially the clothing version of the minivan. No one wants to use it, but my God, they're useful.
Well, one thing I always wondered,
this thing's so efficient
because I don't really go around.
Look, I can get in and out so easy.
I don't travel a lot, especially like the shock I had when I visited like the Woodlands Pavilion, which if people don't know what that is, it's basically a really big outdoor performance center. And when I went there, they had all types of security checks, and I was like, man, I feel sorry for ladies because most ladies carry purses and stuff, and then like now they like you can't carry in a purse a certain size. They don't care what's in it. Like,
right, it's got to be clear.
It's got to be
a certain size.
Yeah. And I was like, dang, like so. I guess the fanny pack is kind of a practical thing.
It's amazing
because it's small enough to where you just get it checked real quick. And for some reason, I've kind of noticed since like the 80s. Is people are carrying have to have more things on them at all times.
Phones, chargers,
headphones, chargers, medication. Like you always had that mom who had everything.
Fentanyl, yeah.
And then, but like everyone has that now.
Yep.
Like
yep. And I'm old enough to remember when fanny packs were in and when they're out of style, and now they're kind of making a comeback, I would say. And when I was young, I would wear one and didn't care, and then it got to be, you ain't gonna wear a fanny pack. That's super lame. And now I'm like, I don't really care. They're so functional. Again, it's like the minivan. Well, you don't really care. You get to a certain point in your life.
You're also staying in a place for a long period of time. Now, if you're going to work, you wouldn't bring a fanny pack.
I think we need to have an everyday fanny, an EDF.
Well, they probably do. They probably have the traveler bags or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing is if you put it around your waist, not fashionable. But if you lift it up and put it like mid-chest, suddenly it's okay.
There's a guy
it's okay.
at Bowls that wears a fanny pack while bowling.
Yeah, he does.
It's really weird. I was like, why?
Yes.
I was like, why is he wearing a fanny pack while bowling? Like,
So he can carry his gear, man.
I don't know, but he always puts it behind him, and then
Does he-
and he bowls.
Does he drive a minivan as well?
I don't know. I mean, to me, I thought like he might have been disabled or something wearing a fanny pack while bowling, but.
I suppose.
Shout out to that guy. But again, yeah, if you're going somewhere like in a long period, I guess it makes sense. But then again, I rarely do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare that I would go, like, especially if you go for a hike, you bring a backpack. You wouldn't bring a fanny pack. So that's the only thing I can see.
Well, you can only fit so much into it.
Yeah. But then again, I'm not a dad.
I don't think you have to be a dad to wear one.
Yeah, you kind of do.
You just have to be completely not conscious of fashion.
Well, especially, if you're traveling with your kids, you got to carry all their kids' stuff. Yeah,
well, that's the case. Yeah, you're not carrying that in the fanny pack.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Binkies.
No doubt. Binkies. Yeah, you have a separate bag for all that crap.
I don't know. It was because your wife probably carries that.
I know you end up taking turns. I mean, if you've got great scene control, maybe she's the only one carrying it. But
I had I had
days.
this funny thought. I was when you're talking about Disney World, all the walking and everything. That's when you get that suitcase. That motorized suitcase right there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's when you're just
Yeah.
riding around and like you got all your stuff in there.
Call back to an episode like over a year ago. That was a great one.
Yeah. So but I still think about those things because like you can't bring them on planes. So when do you use that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of pointless. Well, you just don't check them. You put them in under. Wait.
No, you can't check them.
No, you can't check them. That's what it is. You have to carry it on because it's got a lithium battery, so you can't check them.
And
it has to be small enough to be on a carry-on, but they're too large. Yeah,
So
that's what
it
it
didn't
was.
make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But then again, I bet you can get on buses with it because they don't care anymore. They need as many people on those buses as possible.
It's true. That's been bus talk. We did beach talk. We did bus talk.
Yeah.
You plan another trip down to the beach at any time this summer? Are you a beach guy?
Yeah.
I like
I'm
the beach,
I'm
too.
an outside guy.
Outside. Okay.
So.
You ever been at the beach?
And I really enjoyed this house we're at because you're so secluded
Right.
that the wind is like outside on the porch. It's just windy and it's nice because there's no other lights around, and it's just like you're really by yourself in the middle. Like it felt like in the middle of the ocean almost.
Yeah.
So it's very peaceful.
You didn't have like a panic attack or something? Oh, my
I'm
God.
I'm not like that.
There's some gators going to come up and get me.
I'm not like that. No,
right.
That's because I carry a gun.
Come on, gators. Have you ever been at the beach and are you a sandcastle guy? Do you build sandcastles at all?
No, at the beach, usually what I do is if we have a game, we play a game. And there's a lot of new games now. I saw a bunch of new beach games.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Yes. Please let me know what type of new beach games you're referring to.
I'll show it to you.
Is slam ball? Is that what you're talking about?
Something like, not that. It's more of like a kind of like a washer / beanbag, or what do you call it, cornhole kind of games.
All right.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, like I just hang out on the beach and then I'll get in the water.
Okay. Well, I'm a sandcastle guy. I'm usually one of those dads that's like, all right, everybody, we're set up. We got the towels down, the umbrella, the cooler set up. It's time to build the sandcastle. And I've got my whole technique of sort of semi-wet packed sand and dry sand, and then you do the really wet stuff where you do the little caca-castle drips from your fingers. I've got it all down. And there's nothing worse than spending like 5 or 6 hours on a sandcastle, and you step back and you look at it and you're all proud of yourself. And the wife says, hey, you want to go for a walk down the beach? You're like, yeah, let's go for a little walk. And you walk, I don't know, 15 minutes, and you see like a 7-year-old who built a castle that's infinitely better than yours. Suddenly you don't feel so good about yourself anymore. You're like, oh, crap. He's just kind of packing stuff from his...
Well, he was born on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
So
he knows all the techniques.
He knows all the cool things. He has all the
so frustrating.
Toolkit and his tackle box where you can shape little shavers.
So emasculating. And your kids are looking at you like, what's up, Dad? Why can't you do that?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it either, man. All right, we're going to get our first story in here before the break. We've been doing a lot of chit-chatting, and that is just fine. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball because that is the game of the summer, and it's really the only professional sport that's going on right now outside of the WNBA, I suppose. Did you hear about this? That a woman slams ESPN for sexualizing her while eating ice cream at a game. And now this is funny because you see this all the time when you're watching a baseball game. The camera guy will usually find an attractive woman.
Funny things going on.
Funny things, but most of the time it seems to be a woman that could be perceived as attractive, right? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, she's sitting there with a friend, and she's eating ice cream, and the camera shows her for 20 seconds straight. Now, I have to admit, that's a long time. And I do think she has a little bit of a gripe here, man.
I'm trying to find. I'm gonna see if
The
I can
video
find
where
the
she's-
video.
And they
Well,
just...
I mean, I don't
And it would
think
be even
it's-
worse if the commentator's like, look at her enjoying that ice cream. Looks like she's really going in. Is that sherbet? Maybe a little bit of mint chocolate
20-second
chip?
segment of
Yeah,
just
man.
eating ice cream. Well, she doesn't have a spoon, which is interesting.
Correct. Oh, it's like a cone. And so I think it looks like the still picture looks like it's a cone.
No, it's that. Those are definitely little buckets.
Now, wouldn't it have been interesting if they switched cones like
Here.
back and forth? That'd been pretty hot. Wait, I'm not helping. I'm not
Well,
helping.
that's where the camera guy goes, "Hey, these ladies don't have spoons. This is gonna be kind of funny watching them eat." And then nothing really, and then they're on the jumbotron,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Jumbotron, which is probably simulcast over the ESPN
and
game.
see, that's when you have fun with it.
Well, yeah,
because
you
you're like
can.
you're eating ice cream, and you're like,
I don't know that she knew she was on camera. And there's no reason to do 20 seconds unless you're trying to insinuate something a bit sexual with this. That's exactly what this was. And I think she's got a gripe, and I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I believe I am going to keep up with this story because it seems very interesting to me. I think she's got a case, man.
who cares?
Well, you know how like anything else, it goes viral and people are like, "Oh, she's the sexy ice cream lady."
I mean, if I was the boyfriend, I'd be like, you should have got the spoon, like I told you to get. Like,
There you go. Now you don't have to worry about it. Way to go. Victim blame. Just like you're supposed to, Dick. Have you ever heard of sticking
well, it is
with...
kind of ridiculous. She didn't have a spoon.
Again, it looked like a cone. I don't know.
It was not a cone, man. That's not a cone. You
Okay,
can see,
so-
it, see how she's holding
Holding it? Okay, well,
That's
maybe...
not a cone.
Maybe they had spoons, but they hadn't quite gotten to the point where they needed a spoon yet. Because the ice
I mean,
cream at that point...
actually, it looks like she has a spoon in her hand.
Okay, see? Look at you, quick
So
to blame. Quick to blame her.
You don't think they knew what they were doing
Are you saying a woman is not allowed to eat ice cream in that manner?
without a spoon?
Exactly.
I mean, what's weird is I don't really.
You're part of the problem here, Dick.
Well, I was thinking when I watched that little video, I go, I probably wouldn't have eaten it like that. I probably would have bit into it.
Oh, that hurts your teeth, though, or it can. Gives you a headache. Biting ice cream? You're sick,
If it's that
man.
big, if
You're
it's that
sick.
big, you don't have a spoon. I'm not going to
Please stop. No, biting into an ice cream, you're sick, man. That's you have no feelings.
Well, what I like about this too is I was reading a little bit of the article, and she goes like, "Oh, I knew they were going to allude to all these like rude remarks online." And and I'm thinking like, yeah, everyone's online. Everything can be taken out of context. It's kind of like
If they showed it for 1 second, that's
she says she's being compared to the Hawk 2 girl.
okay. So I think she's trying to get some fame. You don't compare yourself to Hawk Tua. I'm sorry, you're not in
Yeah.
Hawk Tua's realm.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Now I can understand it.
By
if
the way, her name is Haley Welch. She now has a name and representation. Apparently, she's making the most of this.
Well, yeah, and it's again if the commentators are just like, man, look at her eat.
Yeah, that's what I was
ice cream."
saying.
But I doubt they were saying that kind of like, look at these young ladies. They're enjoying their ice cream. They like, why don't they have a spoon? I bet you.
If it's just 2 seconds, that's one thing. 20 seconds is a long time, man. To show anybody in the crowd doing anything,
It's
even if they were
funny,
dancing. Sure.
Well, you ever seen
This is why you can't be trusted with a
You
camera.
ever seen those like kiss cams and like
Oh,
the
yeah.
funny things?
Sure,
and
of
they're
course.
like, oh, they're gonna do some goofy.
But even the kiss cams last 5 seconds per person, and then it's over.
it depends, especially if they're drinking beer.
Yeah, they
There was a funny one from the hockey playoffs where one guy got on the camera and he's like, "Oh, I'm on camera," and he like grabs his beer and just chugs it, and then he points to his daughter, who's probably like 5, and she had some type of soda pop, and she goes,
Oh, yeah,
And
she's mimicking everything that she's seen. Yeah, the
and
guy's
she's just
guzzling
chugging
beer.
and it's like getting all over her. And I was like, and that was at least 20 seconds. So I mean, again, I don't know. This lady's clearly trying to make something of it. That's one thing I love about the TikTok age for people who have accounts. Mm-hmm. Because, the probably content creators on TikTok are very small compared to just like viewers. And I guess the mindset of the younger generations is, no, I have a chance because they caught me, tripping and falling. I'm going to make something of this. And then they go for it.
Sure.
And then, of course, when the internet finds you, they're going to find everything about you. And they're going to know. Like, what was that during the hockey playoffs? Some lady, like, flashed something. I didn't really understand.
I believe it was a breast.
Well, I didn't understand like what the reason was, like because she was like in
Dick,
a room.
you don't need a reason to
But
flash
anyway,
breasts.
and then it's like, and now she's on Playboy.
just happens. Oh, is she really?
Yeah, and I was sitting there because that's the only reason I heard about it, because it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, Oilers fans on Playboy, and I go, Oilers fan, like, was she at home doing this? And then you see the video, and they're like, why didn't she get kicked out?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody saw her outside of the person that was probably filming it, right? And so,
because there's a classic. I think it was when the Capitals won the Stanley Cup, and like it was like the end of the game, and usually the hockey players go in a circle around the rink, like going like yeah, and this one girl like front of the glass just flash, and what's great is you see all the guys who are around it like they just turn and like what?
I don't know.
And I thought that was great.
It is a pretty mystical, amazing power that women have to be able to do that at any given time if they so chose.
I don't think she was kicked
right?
out. But yeah, that was one of the funniest things because it's like, what do you think?
You need to stop traffic? Hold on, I got this.
Well, that's what they think about.
I mean,
do you remember watching
the power you possess?
The World Cup?
Oh yeah, all
And-
the time.
No, like I think it was like 2014. It might have been 2014 or 2010. Whenever it was in Brazil, and I remember like the constant focus on the women, and it got to the point where I was like, "This is the weirdest thing." Because
Were they eating ice cream?
Because in soccer, you're usually watching the game because soccer doesn't stop.
Yeah, but the crowd is sometimes much more entertaining.
I know, but
especially if they're eating ice cream.
Especially if it's the World Cup, people dress up and like they do things. But it was just
or
constant.
a hot dog. If they're eating a hot dog, how entertaining is that?
I mean, I think the better one is watching baseball players try to eat sunflower seeds. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know if you've seen not the new, but it's like we've been going on for a couple of years in the Major League Baseball. It's like the coaches and everything. I guess you can't dip anymore, and so they're just throwing sunflower seeds into their face, and probably half of it, especially the Astros baseball coach.
Sure,
he does not like. It's not like you're not doing this like a little like that. Usually when I'm eating sunflowers, I just put a couple. This dude's sitting there, his glasses on. He's like watching the game. He just goes. And it's just
half of it misses his face.
Yeah, but it's like he's constantly doing it. And I go, has anyone told him like, hey, you're like wasting so much sunflower
There are children
seeds.
in Africa that don't have sunflower seeds. That's what my mom would have told me. Anyways.
And
Thank you, Mom.
but yeah, so that's entertaining. But I eat an ice cream. I don't know.
Well, we've got some more baseball stories, but it's time to take a break. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about baseball and maybe even some Gravestone Babies.
All right, cool.
Right here in the Audience of One. Dick, I think we need to talk about something that's really important.
Is this an intervention?
No, that's next. No, I think we need to talk about sponsoring and donating to the show. It's something that I feel very close to, and I think it's good for you.
I think it's important that we tell our listeners that they can donate and sponsor.
Very, very true. Do you like dog food?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's good, because without those sponsorships and donations, dog food may be what you're eating.
Okay.
Don't let Dick eat dog food. Like, follow, subscribe, donate today.
Audience of
One.
Audience of One. Show.
At gmail.com.
Yeah. All right, we're back with Audience of One. Just to remind everyone, we're here Wednesdays at 10 a.m. New episode released. You can listen to it live on Lone Star Community Radio, Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and then, of course, on the Lone Star Community Radio app, or you can just download it on podcasts, watch it on YouTube and Facebook. Andrew, you got me thinking, when people sexualize those live sporting events, it reminded me of something that really turned me on.
Oh, okay.
And I want to show the audience. I was like, are these the videos you're talking about right here?
Does that do it for you?
Is this little dog with the little Mets hat?
This is highly inappropriate.
Eating that hot dog? Is this what you're talking about?
I suppose so. Is he going to give that hot dog to the lady sitting next to him? I suppose if that's what does it for you. Have they sexualized that little, is that, what, is that considered a wiener dog, by the way?
I don't really know. Dogs are strange to me. It's like they all look like, I just call them big, medium, or small.
Yeah, well, for those of us or listeners that are on podcast only, we have a video of a dog eating a hot dog, and it's apparently really turning Dick on.
And it's decked out in gear. It's got glasses on,
Well, he's a fan.
and he's got a Mets hat.
I would say those are like Yoko Ono style glasses, wouldn't you say?
Well, and with this
Little
guy's
circle,
this
purple.
this guy's risking
tint.
it too because he has his own hot dog in his hand, in the other hand holding the dog. So I'm like, and it's got the works on it, and I'm like, if I was a dog, I'd be like, screw this single hot dog over here. I'm going for the bread, I'm going for the.
Maybe that's used to distract him from his own hot dog.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Maybe he's not a fan of mustard. You never know.
But yeah, so that was on for like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
better watch
Again, that
out.
dog may have a case now.
Yeah.
May have a case. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Department of Defense Wounded Warrior Games that I teased last week. The real reason why I was in Orlando, and this is really cool. This is an event that's been going on since 2010, where active and retired military personnel from all the branches of military are able to compete in adaptive sports. And it's really cool. It's part of their healing process, basically. And it's injuries anywhere from, like I said, active duty wartime to something that may have happened to them afterwards in retirement. You just had some cases of people maybe who went through cancer, but they're veterans. They're able to participate in these games. And it's really, really interesting. I'm glad that I was able to go and watch it. They've got things like wheelchair rugby, weightlifting, seated volleyball, which is just wild. And by the way, wheelchair rugby is crazy. If you've never seen that, I highly suggest that you look it up online, watch some clips. Wheelchair basketball, riflery, archery, air guns. It's pretty neat. Cycling, all kinds of events.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
You said air gun. It reminded me of, I saw this video of, how we always talk about Ocho sports.
Yes.
There was one with squirrel suits, and they have a pole on their head, and then they have to go through targets while gliding through the air. I saw that, and I was like,
Oh, you're talking about real squirrels.
like,
Or are you
no,
talking about people?
people with people with squirrel suits on.
Oh, yeah, gotcha, yes.
They're flying, and they see.
Think of a winged
like,
squirrel.
like
yeah.
between two little poles, they got to fly and hit it.
And they've got like a GoPro on their head, and you're seeing what they're seeing, right? Yes.
And then so when they're about to hit it, they lower their head so the spear, and then
That's awesome. That is not an adaptive sport, but it should
so
be.
I'm just letting you know
Is
that's out there.
Amazing.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
But no, that's really cool. And my son took a gold in the 10mm sitting rifle, so that was awesome. But every year,
it's kind of unfair though, right?
what do you mean it's not fair?
Oh, he's a Navy man.
Yes, was.
He was a Navy man.
Yeah.
'Cause that's actually really good because they don't ever shoot guns.
Not usually. I
So-
mean, unless the S hits the fan, right?
Yeah.
So every year, the Department of Defense invites one non-American allied group to participate. And this year, it was the Australians. So the Australian group was participating in the events, and I was
Why do
fortunate
they
enough
only
to.
do one?
We throw them a token,
Well, I was thinking about it because when you told me you're going to this thing, I was like, I wonder how many actual people go to this.
It was pretty well
So
attended.
give me like an estimate.
There was I think there was around 300 to 350 participants in the actual games, and each of them had multiple family members.
Yeah, you basically the triple or quadruple that.
Yeah, exactly, for all the people that were in attendance.
So like
yeah.
a couple thousand.
Yeah, easily. Mm-hmm.
And
it
like
was
and
fun.
the facility it was in, or like it could hold everybody.
So it was in, like I said, Orlando, and the games mostly took place where the NBA bubble was during 2020.
Did they build that for that?
No, it's been
Okay.
around since the late 90s, and Disney owns it. It's a Disney-owned property, and they've got it's the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex, and they've got multiple
Okay.
basketball courts, baseball fields, all kinds of things. It's massive. Really, really nice
Okay,
facility.
cool. Yeah, I was thinking that because
Yeah,
they
perfect
invited
for an
you.
event like this.
Okay.
Yeah, and it lasted for
Australia
nearly 2 days. So
comes.
Australia came, and it was really cool to get to see some of the Australians competing, and they're very, very nice people. Well, one day, I was sitting down for lunch, and this young man and woman from Australia, and usually you can tell they're from Australia because they're wearing all their Australian gear, sits down at like a round table next to me. We make small talk, hi, hello, whatever. And I mentioned
How
the
do you
fact.
say hi?
I mean, I said hello. They speak English.
How do they say it though? Oi,
Yeah, hey, mate.
oi.
Oi.
Okay, I was just wondering.
They did have accents, which I'm not going to try and impersonate because I don't know that I do a very good Australian accent.
Hello.
But I did hear her mention, as it turns out, it was her brother. It was young. I thought it was a couple at first, but no, it turns out it was her brother. And I heard her say to her brother, "I've never had mac and cheese before." Ooh. And this was on the menu. And I looked over, and she had it on her plate, and I thought, I have to say something. So I said, "Did I just hear you say you've never had mac and cheese?" And she said, "No." So I immediately watch this process. I want to see the look on a young adult who's never had mac and cheese. Now, I will admit this mac and cheese was not all that great. So this was not a good representation. She takes a bite.
It's the military food.
Basically, no, this was Disney, although later in the week there was really good mac and cheese. This was not that great. But she takes a bite, reactionless, just doesn't say a word. And I have to say, I'm like, well, did you like it? What did you think? And she said, well, it's just cheese and pasta, right? I was like, yeah. It's okay. Wow, really disappointed,
Yeah.
So I immediately, when I come back, I tell my wife, and I'm like, hey, I just met this girl from Australia. She had never had mac and cheese. That's so crazy. Well, wouldn't you know, about a day or two later, we see her in the stands. She comes and sits down right next to us. And I said, that's the girl. That's the girl that never ate mac and cheese. So we strike up this really kind of familiar relationship with them for the next several days. And it turns out they're a really sweet family. My wife and her exchange phone numbers,
Did you lean in? You lean into her and be like, so how did it come out?
The mac and cheese. We know how it went in. How'd it come out? No, Dick, that's what's called inappropriate.
That's not inappropriate.
That's not how you make friends and influence people right there. So anyways, my wife and her exchange phone numbers are going to be pen pals. It's great. But during the course of conversation, yeah, man.
All right, cool.
The modern day version of pen pals probably. She says, hey, have you ever tried Vegemite?
Yeah.
And I said, no, is that actually a thing? And she says, yes, and we brought some with us. I said, wait a minute, you brought Vegemite with you?
Yeah.
She said, yeah, the thought of being without my Vegemite for nearly 2 weeks, it was unbearable. I had to bring it with us.
2 weeks?
That's about how long the trip was. I mean, it was 11 days, And so I said, yeah, I'd like to try it. Well, normally Vegemite is served on these crackers. Well, they didn't have any of the crackers, so they were putting them on Ritz crackers. And they gave me what they called a scrape. Scraping. I mean, it's just the thin little, you could see the knife markings.
Isn't it a fish?
And I ate it. No, it's actually like the leftover, brewer's material from beer. It's very, very salty, and it tastes a little bit like...
Yeah, it's yeast.
Yeah, brewer's yeast. And it tastes like a bouillon cube. And it's not very good. But my thought was a scrape. I barely tasted it. So I asked her the next time, I said, give me another cracker and lay it on there pretty thick. And she put a nice little spread, and it literally was like putting a bouillon cube in my mouth. But what I don't understand is I'd heard from the song, Vegemite. What was it? The Vegemite sandwich from, was it Toto, right? Or I'm sorry, Men at Work. I had pictured there being something like a 1/4 inch of jelly or jam in there, but no. Apparently, it's so strong you don't need very much. Have you ever tried Vegemite?
Yeah, I remember having it.
You've tried Vegemite? When?
Yeah.
How?
Because I'm a cultured
Where?
man.
No, that's not it. Try again.
I saw it at the store, and I got it.
Really? They have it here?
At certain stores. Like in Houston, there's certain stores that are cultural. Well,
I just found it really interesting that the people from Australia brought it with them because they weren't sure if they were going to be able to get it.
It's definitely one of those comfort foods.
I guess. Did you like it?
It was all right. It wasn't that bad. But it's also something I'd rather have something else.
Yeah.
If I'm putting it on a chip or whatever, a cracker.
Pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how little they actually use. I mean, I thought, again, I thought it was going to be a big spread.
But it's salty.
It's so incredibly salty.
Yeah. So it's you don't want to put a lot.
And
I don't think there's any other use for it either. Besides the cracker, you don't mix it.
No, because it's already a secondary use as it is. I mean, it's leftovers from a beer brewing process.
Some people do leftovers and mix it in a soup, or
right.
They don't put Vegemite in a soup.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what all you can do with it.
I wonder if you make a marinade with it.
Oh yeah, that like a what do you call it? Like a seasoning for your brisket or something? Vegemite brisket. Marinade.
But yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. You got to meet Australians, and you're over here.
Yeah, man.
Talking about mac and cheese.
Yeah. And I did tell her she needed to get back over and try the better, the second day version of the mac and cheese. And I'm not sure.
How was it better?
It was just fresher. It was really good. It was actually really, really good.
So when you were there for the food, it was just, what do you call it, buffet style?
Yeah, buffet style for the games. Yeah.
And how does that work money wise? You just pay $20 and you get a buffet, or is it more of you got paid one price for the ticket, and it's hey.
Yeah, essentially. They paid for a few of the family members, and then additional family members you had to pay for, and it's like an all-inclusive deal.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We're gonna get in the details of this.
Oh no.
So, I'm guessing anyone that's served is invited and can participate, or is it hey, your son's actually a BA, and
so you have to qualify. And there's certain qualifications. You have to have had some sort of disability either before or after
No, I get that.
duty, right?
But, like,
and then you have to go to qualify for the games. And in this case, the qualifying was out in Hawaii multiple times, and you qualify for certain events.
So your son went out to Hawaii.
A couple times, yeah. I know, it's a tough life, isn't it?
And, well, he had to pay for it, I imagine.
No, he didn't, in fact.
You paid for it.
No, the department. I'm going to keep saying department.
I like
Department of Defense.
See, that's really interesting to me.
Or
Because,
the Navy, yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, because like it's basically like the Olympics for.
It is. It absolutely is.
That's really cool. What's it called?
Wounded Warrior Games. It's the Wounded Warrior Project, and this is the Wounded Warrior Games.
Okay. I thought Wounded Warrior Project was a nonprofit.
I'm sure it is. Well, there's multiple entities that funnel into it. The Fisher House is one of them. There were also some sponsors that donate money to this as well. And the Wounded Warriors is indeed a nonprofit organization as well, right? So it just depends. But this is an offshoot
it's a charity.
of that. Yeah,
it's a charity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a 501(c)(3), whatever.
Well, I mean, they do it.
But shout out
That's
to
cool.
the Owen family from
That's gotta
Australia.
be-
I'm sure you were listening.
Was anyone betting on anything?
You always trying to get action on it, huh? No, as far as I know, there was no one betting on it, but it would not surprise me that amongst the actual folks, there was some wagering going on. But no, I did not see any of that myself.
So there's probably two divisions for females and males?
No, males and females competed together. The only separate divisions were depending on your level of disability.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's got to
Usually 3 divisions, sometimes 4.
Yeah. Well, I always wondered, like, because that's one thing I always want to talk to the Paralympic people. Because, like, you remember that controversy with that guy with the blades as feet?
Yes, and then he ended up shooting.
Well, not him, but basically that style of running. Because I remember
Oscar Pistorius was his name.
There was a guy on Daniel Tosh's podcast, and he was an Olympic runner. And he was talking about he was around that time during when that guy was running, and he was doing almost the same speed as him. And they kept telling him like he's either disabled or not disabled, so they wouldn't let him compete in both because of his height. Because apparently with those blades, you have to be a certain height to be allowed to be in the Paralympics.
Yeah,
but he was like a big dude, so his legs were he was
like the height of an avatar now, right?
Yeah,
this guy's like 9 feet tall.
And they don't make the blades smaller. They don't make the blades the same size. So I think like when he had his blades on, he was like 6 something. So they determined it was unfair advantage.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's what the
but
deal
he's still disabled.
With Oscar Pistorius was that he was so fast at the time, and they were wondering if it was giving him an unfair advantage. And I thought that was pretty interesting. A dude with no legs running with blades, and we're asking whether or not it's unfair. But that was the question at the time.
I'm talking about in the Paralympics. Mm-hmm.
So not even just the regular. Yeah,
like in the Paralympics, because his body, he's such a big dude, is like, you can't compete because you got to be like 5 something, because everyone has their missing legs.
Sure.
So it's really interesting. And but I always like those discussions in sports because no one knows the right answer ever when it comes to like what do we allow, what do we don't allow, and then it's kind of like, well, we told people we're gonna have a game on this day, so we better figure something out. And then because I think because the Olympics are coming up, right?
They are next month. No, this month. The end of this month.
Really?
Yeah.
The Summer Olympics, right?
Yeah. It's going to kick off in July when I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh.
So I'm going to take some action out on that.
So we should do that as a show. we should.
The Audience of One is going to be your premier source for Olympic coverage.
Yeah, especially the breakdancing.
We will be covering breaking.
It's going to be the lamest thing ever seen because no one understands what is good and what is bad.
I do think that breakdancing is probably a lot like pornography in that it's hard to define. You just know it when you see it. Right?
You think?
Yeah, because you're like, I don't know what that guy's doing.
Think people are having seizures sometimes? But, like, hey, that guy's rolling around.
I think I can tell when someone's having a seizure. I have never seen someone having a seizure and said, look at them breakdancing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, though, it's kind of like the awe we see in the top tier of athleticism. And when I see breakdancing, I might be like, oh, that's pretty crazy, spin on his head. But I don't think of a guy like rock climbing the scale and jumping, leaping from here to here.
Maybe you don't, but
like figure skating, I kind of get because it's like because that's really hard to do.
It is.
But breakdancing, see, I'm like, I bet it's hard, but it's not like.
We're gonna find out.
I know, you know what I'm talking about.
We're definitely gonna be watching that one pretty closely.
Oh yeah, for me, it's like it's one of those things. It's interesting that like what we regard as, and then especially the Olympics is now a multimedia thing. So it's
Sure.
like we have to
We're going to be streaming it on Peacock.
we have to attract new viewers.
Yeah.
Because they can't do the old school Bob Costa just sitting there going like,
Costas.
What? Is it Costas?
Yes.
Oh, hate that guy.
Oh, look at that. 1/10 of a point deduction on his backspin there. Oh, yes. Oh, he has to do this one in 3 spins.
Okay,
He did 2 1/4.
Before the Olympics starts, what controversies do you think are going to arise? Do you think it's going to be like a political thing, like it's like Israel-Palestine?
Oh, you know, there's going to be some country that when the other country comes out, they look away. Like,
are we going to have another hostage
like
situation?
your dog when you try to take a picture of it.
Are we going to have another hostage situation?
I hope not.
Because that was crazy.
What hostage situation are you referring to?
Like
specifically?
1970.
I don't know. Another half-cocked idea here or topic.
No,
you're right. No, there was. Yes, there was. It was
a massacre.
Yeah,
massacre in 1972.
72. I was going to say
The
76.
Munich massacre was a terrorist attack carried out during the Summer Olympics in 1972.
I don't remember, but I mean, I've heard of it, yes.
West Germany by 8 members of the Palestinian military. Oh, well, maybe
we're not going to do any of that. Let's hope.
Maybe I shouldn't have said what I just said because history does repeat itself.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on away from that. Back into baseball because we didn't finish all of our baseball stories. Have you heard of the person, the name, the man, the myth, the legend, Eddie Goodell? Does that name at all strike it? Okay, you can look it up. It's on the run sheet. But he is the shortest player to ever play in the major leagues. Would you like to take a guess at how tall Eddie was? You think he was maybe 4'10"? That'd be pretty impressive. Maybe 4'5"? No, Eddie clocked in at 3'7".
Oh, so he just walked a bunch.
So that's the thing, and it's kind of an ingenious idea if you think about it. His strike zone had to have been absolutely tiny. I think we need to field a team.
He weighed 60 pounds.
He weighed 60 pounds, yeah. Isn't that crazy? 65 pounds, actually. But basically what this was, it was a gimmick. And I believe that the owner of the team, what team did he play for? I can't see it here.
Yeah.
Oh, the St. Louis Browns. They were struggling a bit with fan attendance and getting people interested in the game, so they basically did it as a bit to get this guy in there. And he played one game, and I think he walked. I think that was the call, but 3'7", and he never considered professional sports as an option. You think?
Wait, this is what I love right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on August 19th, 1951, Goodell entered the second half of a doubleheader between the Browns and the Detroit Tigers at the bottom of the first inning as a pinch hitter for leadoff batter Frank Saucier. Immediately, umpire Ed Hurley called for the Browns manager, Zach
what
Taylor.
are you doing? What are you doing?
How did he not know he was going to do this? He was in the dugout.
Well, but yeah, I suppose, but they don't know if he's a ball boy. They just probably had to submit names. They don't know who the names are, maybe matching up back then. Yeah, pretty crazy. I think he has a sad, tragic life story as well. I think he
died at 36.
Yeah, I think somebody killed him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going for someone else and they missed.
Well, no, that'd be the opposite.
No, bullets do drop.
Going for him and they missed.
No, bullets do drop.
It says when Goodell crouched low at the plate, his strike zone was 1.5 inches tall, making it nearly impossible for a pitcher to throw a strike at him. Goodell was given $15,400 by in a Major League Baseball contract and instructed him not to swing. So basically they told him, get out there, just stand there, and it's going to go. The rest is history. Yeah, unbelievable. It's a long, long story. I can't fully encapsulate it, but I think that is absolutely hilarious. I had not heard of Eddie Goodell before.
Well, this is so sad. This is crazy.
I told you he had a.
So on June 18th, the way they write this stuff, the unemployed Goodell. Good. I'm glad I knew he was unemployed the day of his death. Who just turned 36, was at a bowling alley. And he was followed home and beaten.
Yeah, there you go.
And then his mother discovered him lying in bed dead.
Wonder if he was a good bowler.
I mean, anyone could be a good bowler, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a sad story. I told you he had a kind of a sad ending there where he died. But
you should have told people.
But it said he made.
That's
wild.
I
wasn't going to read the exact details on that.
Did he crawl into bed?
Well, yeah, probably after getting beaten. It said he made about $17,000 over the next 2 weeks after his baseball appearance due to various media appearances and continued to visit ballparks over the years for promotional stunts. See, I was reading the happier part of this story, but you had to go to the beatdown.
I think it's, well, I mean, when someone dies like that, you're kind of like, I wonder if they caught the guy. Did they catch the guy?
That part I don't know, man. I was more interested in the aspect of him playing baseball at 3'7" with a 1.5-inch strike zone.
What was his name again? Not Roger Goodell.
Oh, who are you talking about? Goodell. Eddie Goodell. Not Roger. Roger Goodell is NFL.
They caught the guy. Because that's wild to me. Especially in Chicago. You know there's probably money involved. Because he's unemployed. We know that.
Right, yes. We highlighted that fact. What else kind of jobs are you going to get? Anyways.
Well, it said he, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he said that the coroner said he might have died from a heart attack.
So I think you might find this funny.
Guess who attended the funeral?
Who's that?
The pitcher. Who pitched to him.
Nice.
He was the only MLB figure to attend the funeral.
Oh, would you like to know what his number was? 1/8.
Really?
They didn't even give him an actual number, man. It's kind of low down if you think about it.
Well, what's interesting, he has a legacy in MLB. He's the one of 5 only MLB players to draw a walk in their only plate appearance.
There you go. He's a legend.
So, yeah.
I think we need an AO 1/8 jersey. You know?
That's
have the number of
crazy.
1/8. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Staying on this theme of baseball, are you familiar with the name Raymond?
Oh, my gosh.
What?
His baseball, autographed baseball, sells more than Babe Ruth's.
Yeah, because it's probably much more
Isn't
rare. He probably
that-
signed very few.
That's cool.
It's probably sheer numbers. Babe Ruth probably signed quite a bit. So that doesn't surprise me. It's all about rarity and collectability.
This guy's a cool history. I like that guy.
Yeah, Raymond Johnson Chapman, another baseball player, was an American baseball player. He is known as the only man to have ever died during an MLB game when he was hit in the head by a pitch thrown by Carl Mays, and he died 12 hours later. It's said that the crack could be heard all the way in the crowd when it hit his head. I'm guessing he was wearing a helmet. I mean, they wore helmets, right, even back then, or did they not?
Probably not.
August 17th, 1920. No, I guess they weren't wearing helmets back in the 20s.
We also weren't
Yeah,
throwing
so-
heaters.
Yeah, well, I don't think it takes much, man. I mean, even if they're throwing 70 and you get hit in the right spot. But he was only 29 years of age and is known as the only guy to have ever died in a Major League Baseball game.
Crazy baseball. Baseball's weird.
It is weird. So did you hear the news
Rangers
that
suck.
the Rangers at the point of this broadcast or recording have won 5 straight games? Moving on, are you aware that the Waffle House, your favorite place, is now going to be raising the minimum wage to $3 an hour? Woo!
So it used to be $3 an
No,
hour?
we were raising it to $3 an hour. So I think 2-3 that just made no sense. Raising it upwards to $3 an hour, and I believe in certain states, of which Texas, and it seems like it's mostly in the South, if your job mostly consists of tips, you don't have to get the normal minimum wage of what is it, $7.50 or whatever. I think it's like $2.30. They can pay you. And so to me, it seems like they're sort of, by doing this, keeping this tipping culture going, to be honest with you, that they can allow, hey, well, it's dependent on the performance of the waiter. If they do a good job, they make more money. I guess that's the idea behind it, but $3 an hour seems really low, man.
Yeah, because
Really
one of my
low.
friends was a waiter, and I remember asking, "Hey, does that paycheck that you get every 2 weeks? That's the $2 or whatever."
$2.13 an hour, that's what it is.
I was like, "What does that feel like to you?"
Your paycheck has got to be like $32.
And yeah, because it's like, to me, if I was getting through $2, just because you're more focused on the tips for your actual income,
Oh, yeah,
and it's
exactly.
like, I was like, do you regard it as like a bonus, or do you regard it as like, oh, it pays my gas? You know, it's like that's my gas money.
But the thing is, you would assume that you've had bad service at restaurants where people were getting $2.13 an hour. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
So this concept of, oh, well, we're just going to pay them only in tips and the service will be better, I don't think always works as well as they assume
Well,
it to.
regardless how we got to this point, I'm like, but the weird thing is when you're doing tips, you're usually getting those tips that day.
Yes.
You're getting paid out that day, which is very unique in the world of earning money.
Unless you're a stripper.
Or that. But then, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you get this check every 2 weeks, you're kind of like, oh, I forgot. Do you forget that you have a check?
Yeah, because it's so small. Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? Just hold on to 2 or 3 of them at a time. I'll cash them so it feels like a normal-sized paycheck.
Yeah.
It's called the tipped minimum wage. Yeah, and it's the minimum wage is at $7.25, as I said, and has been there since 2009. That is really, really nuts. But not all states, like I said, observe this. But man, if you're the Waffle House owner, what a deal for you. You don't have to pay your employees a normal wage.
I wonder how that works too.
Nothing, man.
You don't know those ladies. I feel like are doing both jobs, or cooking and serving.
Well, I think if you're not serving, or if you're not, serving, you're probably not subject to that.
And usually,
if you're in the kitchen, you're getting more money.
What would you regard the meal as the fastest meal that you eat?
Well, I can tell you that on the way over here, looking at the line at McDonald's, it certainly wouldn't be at McDonald's today because that thing was out to the street along with Burger King.
Everything.
You know when Burger King
has power.
Yeah, exactly. Even Burger King was busy, and that'll tell you. So I'd say it's probably McDonald's. They're the fastest, right? You're not talking about the fastest to consume.
No, I'm talking like
the fastest to prepare.
For you have a server.
Oh, so the fastest quick serve restaurant. Okay.
Or meal, just meal. So like if you're going to dinner, I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like lunch is the quickest.
Yeah.
Because you're usually eating lighter for lunch. Breakfast, same thing. Most people don't even eat breakfast, so it's kind of like, because when I go to Waffle House, I know exactly what I want, but I know I'm going to eat half of it because the other half I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to your question. Sorry.
No, it's a guess.
Okay, then I'm going to say something like Quiznos or something like that.
Not restaurant. I just meant meal. Because if you're a server, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like if I'm a server, like to me,
yeah, lunch.
If you think about Waffle House, how fast they get that food out.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have people who like order just a crap ton of food, so they're going to be there. So like the average table wait time is probably 30, 45 minutes. So you're getting tipped every 30, 45 minutes per table or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about turnover, numbers. Yep.
That's
the
what
quicker
I'm
they can get you in and out, the more they get tipped. Yep.
I'd be interested in understanding why who decided the $2.13 or whatever minimum wage thing, because something happened where the business is like, hey, we're not getting paid enough,
right?
Because that's one thing that confuses me about certain businesses where you get tips, like working as a server. Because I've worked in the service area or whatever. Like I always got mad. Like I ever told you a story about working at Sonic.
You have on air on this very show, yes.
And that's why I was upset.
Mm-hmm.
But like some restaurants, they'll just like pool it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that makes the most sense because it's like, hey, like
It did in your scenario, but if you're the guy making more cash, you don't want to pool. If you're the guy on the bottom,
I think it balances out.
If you're a cart puller or a cart rider, right? Just depends.
I think it balances out.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently,
depending on how you set up the restaurant,
the Waffle House is going to offset the additional labor costs by raising its menu prices. That's right.
Yeah,
so
it's gotten.
Your waffles are going to cost you a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit more. All right, as teased, cemetery baby names are on the rise based on some of these new viral videos that are going out on TikTok. So what this is...
Now I want Waffle House.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Well, the show's almost over, I think. Apparently, a woman went viral a few weeks ago after a video of her and her husband perusing around a cemetery looking for a name that might be suitable for their daughter. Kind of weird, and this is starting what they fear is a new trend. Cemetery babies, where people will name their children for the dead, after the dead, because of the dead. I don't know. Kind of a weird thing, though, right? So I'm wondering if in a few years we're going to see a lot more like Gertrudes
or something. Gertrude, I like that name.
Yeah, Greta. Something that was Greta, something that was popular hundreds of years ago. What?
Gunther,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what type of cemetery. I'm sorry, what?
And there's Horatio.
Oh, I thought you said fellatio.
I said Palatio.
Okay.
And Horatio. Horatio's a pretty...
Horatio's much better than fellatio.
Yeah.
Well, as a name, anyways.
Yeah. And, yeah, there's...
Yeah, pretty interesting. This woman's name, her last name is Hodge. And like I said, they go on the hunt for the perfect girl name. And I don't know if it says in here what name they ended up picking out. But yeah, this is a new thing. You think it's perfectly appropriate, huh? I think it's a little macabre.
I think it's what I think is inappropriate is like what Elon Musk does.
Yeah, that's dumb. Yeah, because it's not even
It's
you
not
can't
even-
pronounce it.
You can't. Yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm being clever.
But if you're the child and you find out that your parents named you not because it's a family name or they thought it was beautiful, but they creeped around with a flashlight one night and found some name, are you going to be kind of weirded out by that? Like, oh man, come on, I'm going to make up something else.
well, imagine being like named Jack after Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Like,
believe it or not, most of the people in the comments section did not find it particularly creepy. In fact, one said that a Gravestone Baby was great because her mom loved the idea as well. So there you go. There you go.
I like it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think we are pretty much out of time. We got time for one more story for the quick hit. What do you think?
I don't know. I just started the music.
Okay, well, quick hit here at the end of the show. Were you aware that most calico cats are female? And it's very, very rare for a calico cat to actually be a male. Were you aware of that, Dick?
I don't even know what a calico cat is.
So a calico cat is one of those cats that's kind of got the brown and black kind of swirl to them. They're usually really pretty.
All cats are beautiful.
You hate cats. You talk about punting them half the time.
No, I just don't like owning cats.
Okay. Well, when you see one that's, well, never
Like,
mind.
I'd own a cat if I had land, 100%.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
to
yeah.
keep the mice down, I suppose,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
because it's just kind of cool to know there's a cat running around. You never know when that thing's going to jump at you.
This is
It's
true.
kind of like the Pink Panther where he had his buddy always, like, keep him on his toes. He would fight him. What was his name? It wasn't Kato. That was another show. You know what I'm talking about? You ever seen the Pink Panther?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen.
And he had his buddy, that martial arts buddy, that would like hide in the closet, and then like when he's,
yeah.
and then they just start going through this huge fight.
Yeah, I
and-
suppose so.
to help him keep him on his toes.
I don't remember his
I always
name.
enjoyed that.
Well, now you know calico cats are almost not 100%, but most of the time female, and it has everything to do with genetics and getting into the chromosomes, which I won't get into here now. But that's just a
Cool.
little fun, quick hit here at the end of the show.
Okay.
Man, we left a lot on the run sheet, but that's okay. We've got a ton more to talk about next
Yeah,
week.
I caught a fish.
Look at you go. So proud of you. I think we've got some fun and exciting new things coming up on this show. Some new changes, perhaps,
Well,
over
the
the
Summer
next several
Olympics
weeks.
is coming,
Well, yeah, that's going to change.
so
a lot
now
of
I'm going to
things.
start deep diving in like, underground Olympics.
Okay.
You know, like who
Proud of you.
can piss the longest. You know, you could do like the pissing games. 100%, you have like 5 games of peeing. Right?
I think there's really only one game. we're being,
Furthest
but all right.
and longest.
Yeah, furthest and longest. Art.
Target.
Yeah, distant. Yeah, I guess you're right. There are multiple games.
Yeah.
And you could do the, what is it, the decathlon, where you do all of them.
Yeah,
See,
I
it's
like it.
The true athletes.
Yeah. And you know some guy has it down to a science of like how much water he needs to intake, what kind of pH level the water needs to be, all that weird stuff. Because like, I got to have heavier urine. I got to, you know.
Speaking of that, well, no, I'm not even going to get into the competitive eating thing that was last week. Never mind. All right, guys, that is all we got time for. Thank you for your time and attention. We appreciate it. We will see you here next week. Audience of One Show.